Hi, today we will learn about explanations, deductive and inductive arguments. I will explain sections C, D, and E of the chapter 1 of Logic by Baronett. First, let's remember what an argument is. In our previous lesson, we learned that an argument is a group of statements in which the conclusion is claimed to follow from the premise. Now, what is an explanation? An explanation provides reasons for why or how an event occurred. By themselves, explanations are not arguments, and today we will emphasize the difference between an explanation and an argument. However, explanations can form part of an argument. Let's analyze the structure of an explanation. It always includes an accepted fact, that is, an event that already occurred, and reasons or the proper explanations about how or why this accepted fact occurred. To specify the difference between an argument and an explanation, remember that an argument presents a conclusion and it claims that the conclusion follows from the premise. The conclusion can turn out to be either true or false. While the argument asserts the conclusion, it is uncertain, and this is key, whether the conclusion is true or false. In contrast, an explanation provides reasons for why or how an event occurred. In an explanation, an event has already been established as true. It is an accepted fact. Let's look at two examples. A. Because you started lifting weights without first getting a physical checkup, you will probably injure your back. What do you think? Is this an argument or an explanation? A is an argument because, as you can see, it is establishing a conclusion that you will probably injure your back, but we don't know if that is either true or false. It is uncertain. Now let's look at B. Your back injury occurred because you lifted weights without first getting a physical checkup. What do you think? Is this an argument or an explanation? B is an explanation because there is an accepted fact. Your back injury already occurred. Moving on to section D, it is important to distinguish between truth-value analysis and logical analysis. What is truth-value analysis? It determines if the information in the premises is accurate, correct, or true. Truth-value analysis is done by science or common sense. We will not focus on this type of analysis in this course. Now, what is logical analysis? It determines the strength with which the premises support the conclusion in an argument. In this class, we will focus on the factors that determine the strength of the support that premises provide to a conclusion. So we will focus on logical analysis and not on truth-value analysis. What are deductive and inductive arguments? Let's begin with deductive arguments. A deductive argument is one in which it is claimed that the conclusion follows necessarily from the premises. In other words, it is claimed that under the assumption that the premises are true, it is impossible for the conclusion to be false. In contrast, an inductive argument is one in which it is claimed that the premises make the conclusion only probable. In other words, it is claimed that under the assumption that the premises are true, it is improbable for the conclusion to be false. To help identify arguments as either deductive or inductive, one thing we can do is look for keywords or phrases. For example, the words necessarily, certainly, definitely, and absolutely suggest a deductive argument. Let's analyze this example. Jupiter is a planet in our solar system. every planet in our solar system is smaller than the Sun. Therefore, it follows necessarily that Jupiter is smaller than the Sun. The indicator word necessarily suggests that the argument can be classified as deductive. On the other hand, the words probably, likely, unlikely, improbable, plausible, and implausible suggest inductive arguments. Let's analyze the following example. Some parts of the United States have had severe winters for the last 10 years. The Farmer's Almanac predicts another cold winter next year. Therefore, probably some parts of the United States will have a severe winter next year. The indicator word probably suggests that the argument can be classified as inductive. Of course, we have to remember that specific indicator words or phrases may not appear. That's all for today. Remember to complete exercises 2, 6, 14, and 19 of exercises 1C and exercises 8, 16, 24, and 30 of exercises 1E. Submit your answers on Brightspace by tonight at midnight. Have a good rest of the day.